being direct and being blunt is totally different than being disrespectful. There is a way to speak to grown-ass adults.
Hey,
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Thaleisha, and welcome to the Binge Box, where we share our thoughts on TV shows, friendships, relationships, and everything in between.
Join us as we binge on all the good stuff life has to offer. On today's episode, we're going to be recording Love is Blind, Season 7, The Reunion. If you've been rocking with us the whole season, we appreciate all the love. We appreciate all the support. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell button. We have a new goal. We're trying to hit 85 subscribers by the end of November. So please do us a favor. Hit that sub button. Hit that bell button so you don't miss a video.
The Love is Blind reunion starts off with introductions. They make it kind of speedy, like super, super quick. I didn't feel like they gave them enough time to shine. But everyone looked pretty good. Except Ramsey's, in my opinion. Yeah, everyone looked pretty good. They start out with the couples, Taylor and Garrett, and Ashley and Tyler. They are both still married. And it's almost been a year now. They obviously mentioned Garrett's new look. He looks completely different. And then they start talking about fishing. Obviously, Garrett loves to fish. He's taken Taylor to go fishing now, and he's also taken the guys on a fishing trip as well. Then we have Tyler and Ashley, and immediately they start talking about how this experience has been in the past year, and Ashley immediately says, like, I just miss being in our bubble, which kind of makes sense. It's like you've been in the pod for X amount of time, and then a year between the show that you really got to just live in their own personal bubble.
Yeah, they've been used to just their life before the show dropped, and everyone kind of have an opinion. Because, I mean, like I said before, I feel like that love story was pretty dope if it wasn't for social media. Not kind of ruining and souring it. So, of course, for them, they met a year ago, got married a year ago. So, before the show aired, they were just able to enjoy that same love that we saw. And just enjoy that shit. So, like, it's been a whirlwind for them now, like, since that bubble has been popped and every single person got an opinion on the planet. So,
of course. That's how they really start out the tea, quote unquote. And Vanessa asks about Tyler's secret kids and what actually happened and how did they handle it. And they kind of gloss over it. Tyler's more so like, I don't really need to explain myself to anyone but my wife. And my wife already knows what's going on. She knows the truth. She knows that I did this for a friend and that I was trying to do the right thing. And that's all it really was. He wanted to help. Ashley says that she feels like the media obviously is insulting her intelligence to think that she didn't really know what was going on. Like, obviously, she's on the inside. We're all on the outside. And she knows more than we think we know. And that we should just allow her to be with her man. And she's going to stick beside him, basically. They've worked through all of it already.
Yeah, I was actually shocked at the way they spoke about it. I mean, from what it sounds like, from what Tyler said, he was just like, yo, he told her the facts, whatever he said on TV about, like, the kids not knowing what he looked like. He didn't want to get the kids involved. Exposed. They didn't deserve to be on, like, TV and their business to be out there. So that's what he said. He said, without cameras, he told her the truth. And Ashley kind of seconded that. So, I mean, my apologies, big bro.
There was a moment, too, where she was like, I could sense that he was, like, covering it up. And he was like, did you see the kids? And he's like, I think so, or something like that. And she's like, obviously he was lying, but he told her the truth after. And it makes me question, like, the sequence of events, because then it's also like, even if he told her the truth after, how long after?
She didn't say it was after. She said you could tell that he's lying when he said that, but he told her the truth, like, for the camera work wanted him to.
No, she didn't say before the camera. She said, no, she did not. We can go back.
Okay.
Do you want to go back right now?
And, there were things he was comfortable sharing and things he wasn't. For example, one time I asked him, I said, do they know what you look like? He's like,
I don't think so.
You could tell that
he was trying to lie.
Yeah. So of course he divulged that information.
I'm so sorry. Let me say that he was trying to lie for the cameras, but you guys had already had this conversation. See,
Nick and Vanessa then ask them how much they love each other or what's the most lovable thing about the other. And Ashley's response is that she loves his calmness. And Tyler's response is that he loves her unconditional love. And for me, it was just not a good answer. I hate when people say I love somebody because they love me unconditionally. It's just like it's only in response to how they show up for you and not just who they are as a person, which takes away from the fact that, like, what do you actually love about them individually, not just what do they love, what do you love that they do for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that was the right answer for him to say because I completely get where you're coming from. Like, when somebody asks you what you love about somebody, you should say something about them that has nothing to do with you. I love her personality. I love that she's a good person. Something like that. Not, I love what she does for me. But I mean, I guess from what Tyler has been saying from day one, is I guess people have constantly like left him without his life. Hasn't really, I guess, received unconditional love. So this is something new for him. So he's like lapping it up. Like, so
I guess, but it's also like, it's not unconditional. She said the love has conditions. She was like, I understand the situation for what it is. That don't mean he could do nothing crazy. Meaning, if he did do something crazy, she's not standing for that. And she very much gave that energy from the beginning. Like, she's not going to put up with a lot of BS, even though she's putting up with a lot of his BS. So is it really that she's loving unconditionally, or is just more so because of his situation currently?
I mean, you can't say, I mean, of course, she's not going to love him certain shit happens, but it could still be unconditional love. Like, just because there's hypothetical conditions that she's not going to love him for doesn't mean it's not unconditional. Like, that's like
that does mean it's unconditional because in that, I mean, that it's conditional because in any case that it was unconditional, there would be no hypothetical anything. It wouldn't matter what could possibly arise. Like, she's just going to stick beside him no matter what. She would have never said that.
Okay, you got it.
But I also just don't believe unconditional love is real. So there's that.
That's why you're saying what you're saying. That checks out.
Maybe. Ashley's mom also mentions that she really has learned a lot from their relationship just based off of how well they communicate, which is sweet. And next up, we have the old cast. AD ends up getting a little bit of stage time and she's talking about what's going on in her life. She says that she really enjoyed the experience and she loves being able to touch people and let them see her through her experience and relate to her in that regard. They also ask about her dating life and she kind of alludes that she's dating somebody, but she doesn't want to divulge exactly who and what is going on.
NDAs. She was on a TV show. She's on Perfect Match season 3.
Right.
She's dating Ali from Loveisblinddc UK. So she can't say that, of course, because that will spoil the entire show. So she gotta be like, I can't say who I'm talking to. I don't know, but I'm happy. So.
I just feel like I hate the fact that they keep bringing back old castmates at this point. It feels very unnecessary. I feel like they do it because of the whole, once again, lawsuit thing. They try to make it seem like everybody's a family now and let's incorporate everybody and see what's going on in their life. But I don't feel like it's a necessity to bring them into the reunion of each like new season because we need to learn more about the cast and what happened in the year span that they've been on the show. But you have us sitting here worried about freaking Bliss and what's his name again?
Zach.
And Zach. Like, we don't care about what's going on in their life. If you want to put a segment where we see what happens after the altar, make that a whole separate show. Like, you don't need to bring that into the reunion when we need information. Like, there's so many questions that could be asked that y'all end up taking away time to catch up with all these old people that we don't even care about.
Yeah, I mean, I think what it boils down to is that, like, Love is Blind track record is pretty bad. When it comes to lawsuits, one, but also when it comes to actually people legit finding love. Like, this has been 7 seasons now. I want to say we have maybe 10 maximum married couples. And I think it's probably less, give or take. I think it might be like 10 max. And 7 seasons is probably out of like 50, 60 couples, and only 10 of them are married. So I think a lot of times they try to showcase, like, we're not ruining people's lives fully. Like, they bring Zach and Bliss. They had a kid, so it's like, oh, see? Loveisblinddc can create some babies. Y'all can have babies. They brought back Jessica, or people know her as Messica, from the first season.
I don't even remember her. I'm not gonna lie.
She was the one that was in the Triangle with Barnett. Remember we watched a podcast with them the other day?
Oh yeah,
that's the one they were talking
about. I remember
about.
them, but I couldn't remember the girl that he was in the triangle with.
It was her. It was Messica.
Got it.
And she's married now, so it's like, see, even if you go on the show, even if you go on the show and life is crazy, look, you can actually still find love.
Yeah, it was just like unnecessary.
Yeah, and then
like, you don't need it.
AD is more so for like, we're promoting a new show, like I seen people call it the Shavers because they have all these Netflix shows. Like, and I don't know if Marshall's gonna be on Perfect Match. He might, but I know Marshall was going through the whole. He just like was engaged and not with Shorty no more. I feel like a lot of it is like promotion as well, but just to prove like, hey, we're not ruining people's lives fully.
Supposedly,
yeah. Like, we've never seen Lauren and Cameron step anywhere near Loveisblinddc ever since that day. So clearly, I don't something wrong.
That. Next up, they go to Marissa and Ramses. They asked Marissa how she felt about rewatching the experience, and she immediately starts breaking down. She's like, watching that really felt like I was reliving the situation, and it hurt her a lot, obviously. Ramses says that watching it back was difficult for him because he didn't see how emotional she was during her interviews. But that was so confusing to me because regardless of how you saw her in the interviews, like you saw her breaking down, crying, begging, and pleading you to take her back, to like try to make it work and all that. Like, what were you so confused about? I don't know, but okay.
Yeah, no, that didn't make any sense. When he said that, he saw how emotional she was in interviews. Like, I watched her literally get on her hands and knees and beg you to stay with her. So, like, whatever she was doing in the interviews, which we saw, wasn't that crazy. Nothing can compare to her being on her hands and knees in front of you.
Literally.
Like, nothing can compare to that. So, Ramses,
literally.
I was a dumbass answer.
Whatever. He says that at some point he ended up realizing that he couldn't continue with Marissa because he would be exhausted and overwhelmed being with her. That was a crazy statement. Because, like, what?
I don't think it's a crazy statement. Because, I mean, I do think he's entitled to how he feels. But I feel like it was something you should have been 100 about. Nah, you could feel like that. If somebody has high energy and you a low energy person, it's like, you might be too much to deal with. I feel like that's okay to have. My biggest gripe with Ramses is that, like, don't string somebody along and make somebody feel like shit is valid and you like the energy.
I feel like that's where he goes wrong because you can't fault someone for something that you, one, knew that she was like that immediately. From the time they were in the pods, they all knew Marissa's energy.
Yeah.
Bowden knew Marissa's energy. They both realized like they were very similar in that regard because of how energized, how bubbly, and like, you know, active they were. So with that, it's like, you're very disrespectful because this is the woman that you claim to love and that you fell in love with in the pods as who she is. So now you're spitting in her face by sitting there and being like, oh, that's overwhelming. That's too much for me. You knew who she was when you was in the pods.
No, I agree 100%. I just feel like you should have kept it 100. Like, even if it was like that.
Don't be with her. You should have broke up with her. You're pressing the situation. You're trying to make it seem like you want her so bad and that it would be dumb of her to choose this man over you. But you already knew that was a lot of energy for you. So why even continue to pursue it?
I mean, the energy, you can see it through the pods. You don't really fully get to absorb the energy till you're in person fully.
That's BS.
No. I get that part, but I feel like whenever he got to the point, because Ramses ain't reached his breaking point the day he broke up. Like, he knew that shit for a good little minute.
For sure.
Like, he probably knew it in Mexico, but he was getting buns in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So he was content with that. My thing is, like, I feel like it's okay to be exhausted with somebody's energy if that's not what you're really here for. But at the same time, too, just let it be known off rip. Like, a day before the wedding does not make any sense to me at all. Mm. Like, don't let it get that far, because when it gets that far, she's going to think you're okay with that energy. If you're not okay with it, a conversation can be had. I'm not saying she needs to change herself. She could tone it down a little bit. Y'all could work on it. whatever. But if you just start hitting her with like, yo, I never liked your energy.
Tone herself down.
She shouldn't have to. But I'm saying, if a conversation is had when you do feel like that, people are able to be like, okay, I know it. I'm cognizant of it. But you can't just break up with somebody and say all of those things.
I guess
That's my biggest issue with Ramsey's is just you pretty much gaslit her into thinking she was okay by sticking around. If you wasn't feeling
her from the beginning.
I wouldn't say he gaslit her from the beginning.
He gaslit her from the beginning because he knew. Yes, he did. Because he knew from the jump that was her energy, and he still pursued her. If you knew that you couldn't deal with somebody so high energy in the first place, you rather a much calmer, chiller person. Even with the freaking patriotism.
Okay.
Even with her patriotism, he made it seem like he was okay with all that, and then as soon as they got out of the pods, the roles reversed, and it's just like she's been talking about this the whole entire time, and now all of a sudden it's a problem.
No, I
just feel like he bullshitted the whole time. Like, you could have just kept it 100 and said, like, this is not the girl for me. You kept pursuing this woman, and then you want to shit on her. I don't care for Marissa either. Sorry. I don't care for Marissa either, but, like, come on now. She didn't deserve that.
You got it. I also feel like Marissa has shit to say right now. That's the only thing I like. Like, when you're going to see soon. But she had a lot of smoke for Nick and Hannah's situation. But she ain't really had no smoke for Ramsey's. And I ain't like that.
I agree. But I also feel like sometimes it's harder. We'll get into that, actually.
It's harder to speak on your own
situation. It's harder to speak to somebody that you once loved and cared for and have emotions for to come up and buck up on them versus someone that you don't necessarily have that attachment to.
I get it. I just was saying it as like, you ain't saying nothing for yourself.
Yeah, she didn't stand up for herself. I 100% agree with that. So yeah, Marissa's mom ends up speaking. She says that she was there immediately. The day they broke up, she talked to him or whatever. And she was there to console her daughter and let her know, like, she's going to be okay. But she says she's also grateful that he ended up calling it off because he didn't want her to lead Marissa on. Like, she much rather him do it the way that he did and just end it instead of, like, pretending that he wanted something more than he could give.
He pretended too long, though.
That.
And you waited till the day, like I said, waiting till the day before the wedding. Because the reason why the moms was there is because she was driving up for the wedding. Like, the wedding was like a day or two, so the mom was pulling up for that reason.
Right.
And that's where I just feel like Ramsey's...
He dropped the ball.
Grow some balls and say, you could have said something mad long ago.
Yeah.
Like, you let her go through the whole...
And they sat down and they had a conversation, actually, where she was asking him about, like...
Are we okay?
Yeah, like, if he's questioning anything, he's like, nah, I'm good.
That was my biggest thing. And on top of that, you let her go pick out a dress.
Mm-hmm.
That's a spit in the face to any woman. Because I just know how women feel about wedding dresses. Wedding dressing is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a sacred day. Like, the wedding dress... You always hear about wedding dress. You don't really hear too much about a suit. A suit is a suit.
Yeah.
A tux is a tux. I wear a tux if I'm going... to a funeral next weekend. You're not wearing a wedding dress.
Yeah.
So to go let her do that knowing you wasn't feeling her energy, bro, was just like...
Weird.
You gaslit her. You gaslit her into feeling like shit was okay.
Yeah.
And it was not okay. She should have cut his balls off. I ain't gonna lie to you. Everybody know I wasn't feeling his mom's. But
Mom was actually calm, the reunion. Calmer than we thought she would be.
I actually liked her mom now. Mm. Like, one, I think she was all bark, no bite.
Mm.
But also, I've seen her in a different light now. I've seen her as a mom. And I was
she's like a protector. She's
I seen
my cubs. I need to make sure that they're good.
Yeah, I have a newfound respect for the mother, just in the way she spoke about the Ramsey situation, and the fact that she was like, "Yo, I went and spoke to Ramsey. It's like my daughter wanted me to speak to him. I wanted my daughter to be okay. I went up there and had a conversation because I needed to understand what happened.
Yeah,
I didn't go up there with no smoke. I didn't go up there to argue.
Yeah,
I wanted to have a conversation. Like, why do you want to call this wedding now? Like, what changed?" What happened? Maybe you might not be able to express it properly to Marissa because there's a lot of emotions and everything. Have a conversation with me, mano y mano, and let's sort this out. Right. So as a mother, I was like, as a mother,
you're a mom.
Yeah, I'm a mom. I'm expecting, but like as a child, hearing like that her mother did that, I was like, yo. I got nothing but respect for that. Yeah, nah, big ups to you, moms.
Marissa also mentions that she felt like her gripe with Ramses was more so just because everything was about him. He didn't really consider the relationship and them as a couple, and she kind of felt slighted. And then Ramses eventually apologizes for that. Apologizes. I don't know necessarily that he's sorry, but I'm sure he feels sorry that he's been painted in the light that he's been painted in because of it. And then Nick kind of just affirms Marissa.
Marissa, can I tell you something? You're beautiful, and your energy is beautiful. And
which I loved, because granted, these are things that a woman doesn't need to hear from a man, but it's good to know that there's a man that's there that's able to speak up and vocalize and express to her the things that she should hear, considering she's in a space where the man that she wanted to say it is not saying it to her. He's actually doing the complete opposite. He also tried to clear his name about the contraception conversation. I don't feel like that was necessary at all for him, but, you know, they gotta cross their T's and dot their I's.
Yeah, I mean, I get why he tried to clear his name, because it's a serious conversation. Mm-hmm. Do I know if editing kind of like they had a conversation really came to a clear and concise decision, but editing was just like, yo, it'll be spicy. It'll be spicy because they do that, and now the whole world will think you're the worst person on the planet when the whole time you just said that as an idea and you was like, I'm cool or whatever. They do that. Yeah, so I get that. So it can be.
I could see it as that, but I also just feel like because he's getting so much heat from the situation, he's like, let me just throw this in to like lighten the load. But it's like, that's not going to change anything.
Yeah, I mean, but also,
you already did what you did.
It also just be like, yo, I'll take heat for the stuff I really did. Like, I broke up, I gaslit, I'll take heat for that. But if I ain't really
do this one thing, like, I'm not going to take all the blame. Okay.
Like, I'll take my L's, but you're not giving me L's that's not even mine.
Got it. Next up, we have Hannah.
Boo.
They ask Hannah if she regrets anything that she said and done, and she's like, no. Everything that I said, everything that I felt was true. I acknowledge and realize, like, I can be a bitch sometimes. I am very blunt. I'm very direct. That was her favorite word in this whole segment. She's very direct, and she doesn't take back what she says. She just kind of wishes she could say it a little bit better. Like, she knows she needs to work on her delivery more so than what she's actually saying.
My first thing with Hannah is over it, being direct and being blunt. Let me fix my mic, actually. being direct and being blunt is totally different than being disrespectful. Mm-hmm. There is a way to speak to grown ass adults, mm-hmm. and you can be direct with adults. We all work jobs where there are managers. We all have parents, mm-hmm. people that are going to be in higher leadership roles than us that might have to speak to us and tell us to do certain things, mm-hmm. and give us guidance. Yeah. And you don't have to be disrespectful. Yeah. I played sports for a lot of years of my life. I played sports as a child and I played sports as an adult. And I've been an adult and played for teams, and it's grown man to grown man, a coach. They can be direct. Mm-hmm. They can be blunt, but not be disrespectful. Yeah. Not be belittling. For not try to tear somebody's character down.
The meaning, like
you try to strip him down to nothing. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you could walk out here and be like, I got no regrets. I did that shit. Like, yeah. It's just like, yo, it's been a year. Have you grown at all? Yeah. That's my biggest thing.
And she said she does. She said that she did.
She grew like, physically.
She's grown. She's gone to therapy, and like she's trying to better herself. She loves who she is and all that. And I don't necessarily see it, but hey.
She needs to continue to go to therapy. Because if she did go to therapy, I was going to say I want to take away the therapist license, but I will let the therapist slide just because.
Some people need different levels of therapy and more time. Like, not everybody can change in a matter of a few months, absolutely. A year, or whatever. Some people need.
She might not know her flaws either, because throughout this year, she hasn't been able to watch it back and see. Yeah. So also, all she's had is her own perspective of it in her own brain. She might think it's differently.
Her and her friends.
Now that there is footage out there, actually, now she can actually see what she was doing. Yeah. And now she can really make the proper corrections. So hopefully in a year from now,
she actually grows and changes.
Yes, because I'm gonna give her that pass that this year might be a little harder because perspective is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's been saying she's blunt and direct, and in her mind, she could think she was really blunt and direct and not realize how belittling and disrespectful she is.
Yeah.
So hopefully now when she has physical evidence, I hope she turns on her TV, clicks on Netflix. Hopefully she got a Netflix account, and hopefully she's not stealing off somebody else.
Right.
And she could watch it and be like, yo, that was messed up. Like, I shouldn't have did that.
Be a little more introspective.
Exactly. Take some accountability. Understand, like, Hannah, I don't like you. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't like you. But you ain't in this world to please me. Be a better woman for yourself. Because if you want love, you gotta find a happy medium in the way to express your wants and needs to your partner, but not belittle them. Because nobody wants to be in a relationship like that. No matter how much they love you, no matter how much they adore you, no one wants to sit and endure that. It's not healthy.
Agreed. Nick comments, and his response is more so like he just doesn't agree with how she viewed him. She looked down on him and thought that, you know, he wasn't as intelligent as her, but he doesn't feel that same sentiment. He acknowledges who she is, and he understands that she is a very like blunt person, and he accepts her for who she is. He doesn't think that she's a bad person. And he wishes that the media would also be a little bit nicer to her. And yeah. And then Hannah ends up calling him out because apparently he was liking all the mean comments that people have been saying about her. And then she kind of just goes off on a rant. So apparently, not only was he liking comments, but he was talking down on her looks. He said that she looked like a grenade. He rated her a 5 out of 10, apparently. And he also wrote in a journal that he wanted to be the most famous person on Love is Blind.
A few things. One, I feel like this was big deflection. Because if she did see a lot of these things, whatever he was saying, whatever, why was it not brought up before? Also, 2 wrongs don't make a right. So, Nick, if you was rating her and calling her ugly and doing all of this, that, it's not okay. But a caveat to that would be, like, Hannah, you were saying the same things about Nick, but doing it on TV.
Yeah.
If Nick was doing it, at least Nick was doing it behind the scenes and not putting it on blast, which I feel like doesn't make it better, but it makes it a little bit better. Also, he was telling his friends, confiding in people that maybe he felt like he trusted, which obviously these dudes are
obviously they exposed because Marissa went off on him, Monica went off on him, Alex went off on him. They all were like, yeah, you was talking about this girl, like, don't pretend. Ramsey's is like, just be honest.
Yeah, so clearly, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like that's not saying it makes it a little better, but you confide in people. People do that. If I might come to tell you, like, yo, like, I'm not feeling the situation that I'm in currently, like, it's okay to express that to your friends. Just make sure you know who you can trust. Hannah, you were just saying it big and broad on TV. I heard so many times that you thought he was going to be taller and this and that and so much stuff about his physical appearance.
That
Hannah, if you were like confiding in your friends and saying these type of things, I wouldn't have been mad at you.
Yeah.
But you were saying it in confessionals. You were just saying it out in the open, which does make a difference.
And the thing is, she acknowledges that she was being mean. She said it, that like, I know I was being mean, but that doesn't change it. And it still does, because granted, I would understand being in a situation like that where somebody is pretending to be one way behind the scenes and a different way in front of the camera. I would not be comfortable with that at all. But I'm also the type of person where, like, I'm just going to call it out. I'm not going to sit here and just be mean to you because I feel like you've been being mean to me or you're pretending to be something that you're not. No, you sat there and demeaned this man because you wanted to make him feel small because he made you feel small, versus just being a grown adult and being a grown woman and saying, like, listen, I heard what you said about me. I heard what the guys were saying that y'all conversations were, and I don't like that. I don't feel comfortable with that. If you don't like me, just say that. Don't sit here and pretend like you want me and you don't want me. We can end this here. Like, let's not keep pretending. But you also kept pushing it out just so you could continue to demean this man.
Yeah. And this makes me question just the whole I love you and I love you, like, I love it. I ain't gonna lie. The love on Love is Blind be mad fake. I already love that.
I I know Nick didn't really love that girl. He also said like he's never really been in love. So I'm just like, there's no possible way you could have been in love with this woman in 3 weeks and you've never been in love in your entire life.
And Hannah didn't really
Not
love him
possible.
either.
Yeah, no.
Like none of y'all love each other. But
neither of them.
One more thing about that, yo, whichever one of y'all dudes is out here pillow talking and snitching on Nick, that's weird. Ain't nothing wrong with pillow talking.
I keep saying this is weird. Men do this all the time.
No, let me speak. There's nothing wrong with pillow talking. I am a man and I pillow talk. I have pillow talked in my life. But you have to know what you can pillow talk about and what you cannot pillow talk about. Because if your girl is friends with his girl, why do you expect your girl to hold it down for you now? She's going to immediately run and go tell her. So you can pillow talk about certain stuff, but don't pillow talk about stuff that your girl can take that evidence and run somewhere with. Because understand that girls are going to have girl loyalty too. Okay. So like, you get what I'm saying? Like you could pillow talk to your girl about something that's happening at work, but something when y'all have mutual friends, probably not. Because clearly her loyalty is going to rock with her girls and your loyalty to rock with your boy. So hold your boy down. And then all y'all get on stage and be like, yo, just tell the truth. That's crazy, bro. Y'all pillow talk and then made it mad hot on stage.
But I also feel like it's limited now because they're in an experience where they're only with each other. They don't have their other outside friends to know these people, to know what's going on, to be able to communicate. So you also do need an outlet to where you're like, these people are also experiencing this thing with me. Although I could understand guy code or whatever the hell y'all be doing where it's like, let's not make it intertwined with the group, but the group is also limited now. You can't really share with too many people that would actually know what's going on and understand these people and like get a gist of it. You only have you and your partner for real, where y'all could have those moments. So yeah, I feel like the pillow talk is naturally going to be more inclined because who else are you going to tell this to?
But are you expecting your girl to hold it down? Or because you got to know she's going to run and tell, so it makes no sense.
You would expect her to hold it down, but these people that's not holding it down are also not in the relationship. The couples that are in the relationship weren't talking.
But that's my biggest thing though. Like you said, your initial experience on the people you really have is your partners. Mm-hmm. The other people you have in experience is the fellow guys and fellow girls. So I'm saying like as a guy, if Nick went to Ramsey's, for example, yo, I feel XYZ, right? He's going, because he can't tell Hannah about it, of course. The only person you talk to is another guy that's in the experience, because you can't talk to any outside people. Mm-hmm. You're expressing that, like, you need to hold that down for him. Don't run and go tell Marissa, ooh, da-da-da-da. Because Marissa's friends with Hannah, of course, is going to come right back, especially something that's negative.
I understand your sentiment.
Because if Ramsey's in the same breath, if Ramsey's had told Nick, yo, I'm not feeling her energy, da-da-da, Nick would have held that down and not ran to Marissa and told her that.
You don't know that.
I don't know that, but I'm saying, as a guy, that's what you would expect.
But he didn't go to he wouldn't have gone to the other person. It's when it came out. He went to his partner. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, they're not going to these other people. They're going to their partners, trusting them, expecting them to hold it down and keep it sacred. But they're not going to keep it sacred because, one, they're not with them. They don't have no loyalty, no ties to them anymore. So, it just is what it is.
Guy code is guy code at the end of the day.
I guess. All right. The next part, they cut to the scene with Hannah, Nick, and Katie at the party. And they're kind of just asking, like, what was going on. Katie gets emotional because she's like, this is actually my best friend. She confirmed. We thought Hannah was lying the whole time. But she actually is her best friend.
Barely. They were just best friends in 3 weeks in the pod.
Yeah, but like she says now, like they're all best friends. Her, Hannah, and Marissa.
Well, I mean, over time, yeah. But the time she was saying it, she was saying my best friend based on 2 weeks in the pod. So that's still bullshit to me. Like, well, they developed a real friendship.
They developed a friendship.
I can respect that now.
Yeah.
At the time of Hannah saying that shit, it was 2 weeks in the pod.
Okay.
And then she flew to Mexico and did not see Katie since. Like, she was not your best friend.
We're on the same page. But like I said, now it's confirmed. They are actually best friends. And Katie genuinely did feel a way about it. And I felt like it was weird that Katie responded how she responded, saying, like, I didn't know this until I saw the clips of it. And it's just like, even if you are best friends, y'all became best friends, whatever, why didn't you talk about this? Why didn't you have a conversation about this?
Best friends.
But also, Hannah's just super fake, and she didn't even respond in a sentimental way. She didn't try to console the girl. She didn't try to tell her, like, I was just being emotional about this man. She just like, I really don't know what to tell you.
Did you notice in that scene too? So the seating arrangements was Ashley's mom, Katie, and Marissa's mom.
Yeah.
And during that thing, like, when Katie got like a little emotional,
Mm-hmm.
Marissa's mom was like, Hannah was talking shit about you all year.
She said that? I didn't peep.
Mm-hmm.
Katie, I trust you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She made you feel like shit for a year.
Well,
Marissa's mom was, I ain't gonna lie, Marissa's mom was on time, man.
I love her.
She whispered that. She was like, yo, she was talking shit about you all year. And I believe that.
That's
Hannah's energy.
I gotta go back and watch that clip because I didn't see that.
Sometimes,
but yeah,
sometimes
it gave the energy of like, Hannah really doesn't care about these people for real. Even when Marissa's like, she's been mean to me. I'm like, and you're still defending this woman?
Hannah's only friends with people when it's convenient.
For her.
For her.
She only wants a yes man. That's the thing. She wants people that's going to sit down and like, yes, Hannah, you're so right. Everybody does this. And it's not a healthy thing for her to own personal development. Because you don't need yes men around you in order for you to grow. You need people that are going to tell you when you're wrong. That are going to check you and make you reflect on things and see yourself.
It's that trauma, man. Like, oh, she had to grow up mad early and get kicked out and all that type of stuff. And now she thinks she the biggest and the baddest and the, you know?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and she thinks she don't need nobody and she don't, like, give a F by anything else. But Marissa had her back, though. I didn't like it. I'm not going to lie to you. Marissa grew on me a lot this season. I wasn't the biggest Marissa person in the pods. I wasn't the biggest Marissa person when she was screaming that she had sex with Ramses a million times. But I guess through seeing how bad Ramses did her, made me like Marissa. And then Marissa kind of ruined all of it for me in this reunion. I feel like Hannah was a monster all season. And you went out there and defended a monster. And the moment you sit out there and you put your neck out for a monster, I feel like you look really stupid. And yeah, like, I just feel like Hannah didn't need any defending. Hannah dug her own grave.
Yeah.
And you're trying to, like, get her out of it. But, like, she needs to sit in and understand it. Like, she was wrong. And you, as her friend, should sit there and tell her that she's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Nick might have did his wrong, too. But let her know she was wrong.
I mean, she kind of did. She said she told her she's a bitch. Sometimes.
Barely.
But, yeah. I feel like the ultimate problem with Marissa is that she needs better discernment. And that's the bottom line.
Facts.
Next up, we have Leo and Brittany. They come out and immediately Tim is on his beef. He just starts defending Leo and he's like, I feel like he's misunderstood. This man came in there. He's got so much more to offer. He came in with the whole money thing, the job situation, just talking about that, not really showing his substance, but he really has so much more to offer and we didn't get to see that apparently. Leo says he didn't realize how much he actually brought up his money or his job. But he also agrees that he has so much more to offer. And he then ends up comparing Hannah and Brittany to food and how he just wanted to test things out and like see what possibility would be his best option or whatever. I don't know why he decided to make that comparison, but it is what it is. He apologizes to them and they acknowledge and accept his apology.
Well, I get why Tim was defending Leo, I guess. Just off the strength of like, I guess I'm trying to be more empathetic to the situation. And like, of course, we don't know what is forged in the pods and the relationships that they make, especially like between the girls, I always say between the guys, it's real life relationships because this is jail pretty much they put you in. There's no phones, no outside. You go on dates, whatever, but you're just locked in there with these dudes. So you get to know them on a personal level. Yeah. And a lot of times, like, if I know you on a personal level and then I turn on my TV a year later to watch it, and then I see them paint you to be someone different, and I guess the person I got to know is like, I got you, bro. I'm going to have your back. Because I feel like a lot of times that happens as well. Whereas, like, I fully got to know you because we sat there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, every day talking. I turn on TV now and it's like, you look like the biggest asshole. It's like, that's not you. Yeah. I don't think Leo's that bad of a guy. I think he's like a gaslighter or whatever. I also think he's awkward with women.
He's manipulative.
He's definitely manipulative. But like, also think he's a little awkward. Like, I'm an analogy kind of person. I use analogies. The food analogy, I understood what he was saying. Bad analogy choice, just because comparing women to meat is not smart. But he don't think. But I got what he was trying to say with the analogy. A lot of it was just like, he was trying to buy as much time because he wasn't sure of his decision. He was just like waiting to much like it's pretty much the analogy you should have used is like when you try to turn in a paper and you bullshit to the last day because you want to make sure it's perfect and you don't know which one to choose. That'd been better because you're not comparing them to food or anything like that. But yeah,
it is what it is. Brittany ends up agreeing like she didn't feel like he was a bad guy. They're actually really good friends. They went on the trip to Miami, and that's when she realized like this is not going to go much further. But she likes him as a person, and they actually have a really good relationship apparently. So it worked out in the end for them, I guess, how it was supposed to work out.
Yeah.
Next up, we get into Steven and his nasty, nasty text messages. He says that he doesn't want to talk about the person because he doesn't want to expose them, essentially. And Monica's just like, bro, you don't want to expose them and you want to have respect for them, but you didn't have respect for me. You didn't consider me in this entire situation, but it is what it is. Steven says he just doesn't want to talk about it because he doesn't feel like no one would actually believe him. He feels like everybody kind of has their views on the situation already, and that he's done all the things, and he's talked to all the people that he needs to talk to. He's gone to therapy. He's tried to work it out as best as he possibly could, but it's not going to change the view that people have of him already.
A few things. I don't know if Monica expected Steven to walk out there and be like, hey, I was texting Mike or something like that. Like, he was never going to come out there and say that. Mm-hmm. I get it. He was like protecting the person, but also was like, yo, they're not on the show. I'm not going to be out here just throwing out names and then people go.
You don't have to throw out names, but the question more so was like, what exactly were
the text messages? He should have said what text messages were. The whole I deleted it don't make no sense. Mm-hmm. But I was smiling just now when you saying that because like Steven gave the most villain answer ever. Like, as a person, when you just like, I don't even want to tell my truth because y'all not gonna believe me is the most bullshitest shit you could ever come out your mouth. Like, I was hearing, I'm just looking at TV like, this guy right here. He got on a turtleneck with the suit. I'm like, yo, he's a Batman villain right now. Yeah. Like, he was really just like, yo, I would tell y'all what really happened, but like, if I tell y'all, you're not gonna believe me, so I'm not gonna tell y'all. And he was sitting there, leg crossed, standing on it. I'm like, yo, Steven.
After he was fiending to talk, first of all. He kept fiending to get some attention, and now you don't want to talk?
I'm like, Steven.
What's up with that?
You all right.
Yeah, he kind of just flipped it and reversed it. And just said, like, yo. Not only that, but like, yeah, I just don't see the point in all of this anymore. Monica also ends up talking about the whole thanking him situation in the pods, thanking him for like being a cheater. And they clarify that, and she's like, y'all didn't see the full spectrum. She was more so thanking him for being vulnerable and being honest about it because she's known that she's dealt with people like that in the past and they haven't been upfront with her, and that's what she appreciated. So I can kind of believe that. We was looking at her very crazy in that scene, but
she said thank you for your honesty in the scene.
No, it was. She might have said that. I don't know exactly what she said, but still in the scene, it was more so a sense of like, you're so brave for like, going through that. And we didn't get to fully see the spectrum of the conversation. It just more so seemed like she was apologizing for him.
In the scene, I got it. Mm-hmm. Over it. When I saw the scene, it made sense. It was just like one of those, thanks for being honest. Like, I feel like a lot of people who have cheated or have made mistakes in life, a lot of people just, when somebody asks you about it, no, I never did. Especially if you feel like you're reformed. Like, if you feel like you've cheated and you are a reformed cheater, somebody asks you if you ever cheated, it's like, no, because I'm not going to cheat again, so you don't got no nothing. It takes a certain special character to be like, yo, like, I have done it, like, and I've gotten better. So just like, yo, I appreciate your honesty.
It didn't come across as that. And there's so many people that have stated the same thing. Like, we didn't read it in that way at all, but it is what it is.
I gotta read between the lines.
We're gonna move past it. They then ask about the girl more so and like what actually happened. Like, what's the relationship? What's the dynamic? Did he know the girl? He says he didn't know her, but somehow she hit him up to mention a health condition, and then they started talking about kinks. And Monica's like, there were other messages. Like, you knew this girl before. Y'all were friends before. But you're making it seem like this was just a random conversation. You didn't know this girl. It was weird.
Yeah, he's talking himself into circles. I ain't gonna lie to you. He's like, he never met the girl before. He don't know the girl, but he knew her for a year. He's like, I didn't know her, but I know her through Instagram. I never met her in person, but we text. I'm just like,
all lies.
Yeah, you're talking yourself in circles. Like, there might be a little bit of truth to it, because like some people be like, yeah, I don't know this person because it's an internet pile and whatever. But it's like, if you talk to somebody consistent on the internet, you know them.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that. Like, I get it. You might have never met them in person. I play video games. There's people I play on games that I've played on the games for years and years and years, and I've never met them in person. I know them. I'm not gonna. I don't know that guy.
Yeah.
If you talk to somebody enough, you know them. It doesn't matter if you've ever seen them face to face, but that's a nice way to bullshit in a conversation and be like, oh no.
For sure.
You know?
Just to get away with the foolishness.
But Steven, you are right.
Next up, we have Alex and Tim. Alex said she feels like she didn't receive grace in the situation with her and Tim. And Tim says that he still loves her and that they didn't get to see the full picture. The day of the pool party, he went to check on her. She was crying. It became a whole thing. She was in the bathroom and they ended up arguing. She called him out of his name. And he ended up leaving because he didn't want to appear to be like the angry black man on TV. Alex said that she wanted to clarify that whole situation because she never put her hands on that man, or it was never as domestic or abusive as they made it seem. He agrees that it wasn't the case, but he felt degraded by her because she called him a little ass bitch, apparently. And, she says that basically she responded like that because he was yelling at her, essentially, and she didn't appreciate that. She didn't want it to be a whole big scene. That's why she didn't let production into the room. She also wanted to protect him in that sense because she didn't want him to appear as the angry black man, but she also didn't appreciate how he was responding to her in that moment.
Yeah, hearing this gave me, I guess, a little different thoughts on the situation, because the hand over the mouth thing makes a little more sense. It was one of those, like, you're mad loud. Mm-hmm. We don't want the neighbors to hear us. It was one of those type of situations when, of course, in essence, the way production made it seem like it was like a shut the up, like, I'm covering your mouth. It was more so like, yo, these cameramen want to come here and record this. Yeah. I don't want them recording this. I don't want them recording this because we're going to look bad. So keep it down. Mm-hmm. So.
Alex also starts arguing about whether or not he's yelling. He says he just projects his voice. He doesn't yell.
Yeah, that's a tough conversation, because I mean, I've heard a lot that I'm a loud person. Sometimes I'm not yelling and I feel like I'm just projecting my voice, but it can be, why are you laughing? But it can be like misconstrued as yelling sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I can get that. Also, y'all are very new to each other. People that are around me long enough know I'm not yelling. I'm just loud as hell. So
but it's also verbiage, and it's also in the heat of a moment.
If
you're in an argument, if you're a loud person, they're not going to take it as, oh, he's just being a naturally loud person. It's, no, you're yelling at me. Like, why are you talking to me like this, bro? Relax. And I can see how it comes off in a sense to Alex, because she's getting all this gripe. Oh, how she didn't show up for him in the same ways that he felt like he showed up for her. But it's like, who's going to want to show up for somebody who's like acting like that all the time? Like, in the midst of an argument, when not only are you yelling, but you're constantly leaving. Like, I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody where we just got here and I'm already like chasing you every second. Like, you just want to leave for every moment.
So
okay, cool.
You want to show up for somebody like that?
Yeah.
So then why not leave? I mean, don't half-ass show up though. So you saying like, why would you want to show up? Meaning like the stuff she did afterwards?
No, I'm not saying the stuff she did afterwards, but I'm saying you also he's not considering the fact that she still stayed there, going through all of that with him. Like, nobody actually wants to deal with that, but he's not acknowledging her efforts in dealing with that energy as well. Like, he feels like he was perfect, or he did everything he possibly could, and he doesn't see her efforts. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Like, she also put energy and effort into it. They argued about the whole her going to sleep thing. And she felt like, I showed up. I talked to them for 4 hours. And I had to work that night. I was tired. I wanted to get a nap in. I felt warranted to do so. And he was still mad about that. He felt like, okay, my parents came, they did all of this. You should have been doing a lot more. And she's just like, bro, like, how much more do you want from me? We went out the night before. The next day I come, I'm talking to them for hours. I got to get ready for work in another few hours. I need a nap in, bro. I can't be up all night talking to your parents about what?
Yeah, I mean, the whole her having to go to work that night definitely gives more context to the situation. I'm letting her slide because she had to go to work that night. Like, if she didn't have to go to work, I feel like tough it out. First time meeting somebody's parents, your fiance's parents, I feel like it's very important. First impressions mean a lot. Going to take a nap is crazy. But if you got to go to work and you're working an overnight shift, I feel like you get a little bit more, like, get you.
Leeway.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Production. You don't have all the full context. That's the thing.
No, absolutely.
Regardless, even before she said that she had to go to work, I'm talking to you for 4 hours. I'm sorry. What more am I saying?
It's not more about what more you're saying. It's more of like the respect that you're with the parents, and like you want to go take a nap on a parent sitting there. It's I feel like it's disrespectful.
It's not disrespectful. Go and have time with your parents. Like, this is your time now to go and sit with them and talk to them, see how they feel, see how you're feeling. If parents want to
spend time with you, then that's like they came in to spend time with him and his fiance.
I guess they should have brought his parents on so we could see how they actually felt about the situation.
That too.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, that too. I feel like you need a full scale, but the parents live far as hell, and they record this in Cali.
Yeah.
So that would have been a lot.
I guess.
But yeah, I feel like I just need more like context on the whole situation. But from what I've gotten, like I said before, like I felt like you're disrespectful. I'm giving her more grace now because she had to work, and it was like, somebody got to work. I cannot. Nah, you going to sleep before your shift. So I'll leave that there. But I mean, they were just on the stage arguing.
Yeah, Nick and Vanessa kind of had to end it off like, listen, this is clearly not going to be cleared up now. Let's just figure this out later. Alex like, yeah, I don't have nothing else to say to this girl. And yeah, that just shows like his character, honestly.
I will say this, if I have to pick a side between Tim and Alex, I do pick Tim's side. But I will say this one thing about Tim.
Because she went to sleep?
No, it's a lot of other stuff. Just like the way she just was moving in situations. Like, I don't think they were right for each other. That's what I don't think they were compatible. Just dirty crib, clean crib, not gonna work together. Yeah. Just something as small as that. Just look at their cribs.
He already knew, like
dirty crib not gonna work.
Clipped.
But I'm on Tim's side. But where I do feel like Tim is wrong, and Tim has been wrong, is that if you are a genuine person and you're doing stuff out the kindness of your heart, stop throwing that shit in people's face. You did cook for her family. You did the right thing with her father. You handed out with grace. It was beautiful. It was an emotional moment. Like, it was great.
Bullshit in the end because he slapped her back in the face.
No, absolutely. But I'm just talking about in that moment. I'm saying you did the right thing. Like, it was anybody that watched the show knows it was a beautiful moment. It was an emotional moment. Like, it got to us. Like, it was dope. Right? But you did that. Flaunting it. Like, wearing like a badge of honor. I did this for your family, Like, it takes away all the essence. It takes away all the essence of it. Like,
yeah.
You don't do something for me and then rub it in my face every chance you get. Because at some point it's going to look like, yo, did you do this to throw it back in my face?
You did it to put a show.
Exactly. So, like, that's where you're losing me, Tim. And like I said, I'm on your side, bro. But, like, it just comes off very disingenuous because you're, like, throwing it back in her face and you're constantly bringing it up.
I personally don't care for either of them, but between the two, I definitely do agree with Alex a little bit more, simply because I feel like that woman bared the burden of all of his emotional weight and labor and got shat on in the end because she didn't go along with every single thing that he wanted her to do. And I feel like it's very inconsiderate and insensitive and selfish for him to look at her and be like, oh, you didn't put in as much effort, when she sat there and groveled with you every single second that you talked about your unalived siblings, tried to make her basically one of your siblings versus your wife. And just poured all of that trauma on her, just trauma dumped over and over and over and over again. And she stood there and you kept weighing her down, and she stood there and supported you every chance that you needed her to. But you don't even give her the grace to be like, I see that you're going through something. How can I show up for you? She said that the situation that she was mad about on the honeymoon wasn't even about them. It was about her dad. And it's like, if I'm going through something and it has literally nothing to do with my partner, the last thing I want to do is argue with my partner about it. I need you to show up for me. From then, I would have been over that situation. I'm not going to lie. Me personally, I would have ended it. But he didn't give her enough grace. So after Nick and Vanessa end that conversation off, they all kind of agree that although a lot of relationships didn't come out of the experiment, they did form great friendships, and they are grateful for the brotherhood and sisterhood that they have created with one another. And I feel like that's a genuine consensus within all of the cast in each season.
Yeah. Like I said before, they locked up in jail with these people.
Yeah.
So when you got no one else to talk to, when you in the pods, it's nothing but you and the bros, y'all gonna really get to know each other. Y'all do foolishness. Y'all play stupid games. Same thing on the girls' end. Like I speak highly on the guy side because I've just been a guy and I've just played enough sports. Been in rooms with guys where like there's times where there's no phones around and y'all just slap box and do stupid shit. Like it's probably like a boys' locker room.
Yeah.
And you make great friendships that way. And then you're able to take it out and actually just kind of, and I guess that's also why the bro code thing with like what's his name?
Steven?
Yeah, with Steven, who was with Nick's situation, it bothered me so much because it's just like y'all built this bond and then y'all share the experience together, so no one else understands the situation like them. That's why I feel like the confiding thing. I don't want to get back into it, but it's just...
We're going to get back into it real quick, only simply because you said that Hannah and, what's her name? Katie's best friendship or whatever was BS. That bro code or whatever could also be BS because they had just met each other. When that situation happened, it was between the experiment. It was only within a month span. And you could say there's ties, but there's not necessarily ties because they don't really know each other like that.
But bro code is something that is just off rip. Best friend is a terminology that you have to earn. Before we became
bro
best
code is not off rip. You can't say bro code to everybody.
Right? Were you calling me your best friend the day I met you? No. Was you calling me your best friend 2 weeks before you met me?
Everybody's different though.
It took time before we can call each other best friends.
I can agree with that. I'm not disagreeing with that. But
if I meet a guy tomorrow and
you're not gonna be besties bro code with him.
I'll have bro code still. That's just off rip. That's how I am.
If you meet a guy and y'all have a genuine conversation, whatever,
if I get locked in jail with a guy,
and you find out that the girl he's dealing with is somebody that you used to deal with or somebody that you want, bro code is not there. You don't care about that. Guys do not give a damn about no bro code.
But they don't want Hannah. Ew.
It don't matter if they want her or not. Ew. It's a matter of bro code is not finite as much as you're trying to make it seem. You're not a bro. You wouldn't know. You're a liar. That's what you're lying right now. Yo, bro code is not as deep as y'all want to make it seem. Okay, then anybody can have bro code then. Yeah. That's what you're saying.
Not you. Exactly.
So it's a lie. It's BS.
No, it's legit.
It's BS. It's BS. It's okay. Anyway, we go back to Taylor and Garrett, and they share that they're actually considering moving to DC now. They said that they tried San Diego, and Garrett realized, like, I can't move away from my family. I miss them, and I need to be a little bit closer to them. And Taylor's like, I understand that coming into the situation. I thought I was ready to go move back home with my family. But I also understand how that could be hard for Garrett. And he is my new family now. And so because I want to support him, I'd much rather make our dynamic easy on both of us and find a common ground. So DC is that common ground for them now.
Said this is going to happen a long time ago.
You did.
I literally said it. Like, the way he was living at and ordering to his family was like, yo, he can't go a million miles away. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's a bit easier for Taylor because Taylor, you chose to be a million miles away from your family over it. Mm-hmm. So you're comfortable with that. And I could have seen this happening. Like, it was no way Garrett was going to be able to throw away his entire life. But I give Taylor a lot of respect. That answer she gave was a wife answer.
She's always on her P's and Q's.
Nah, we love Taylor. We love Taylor on the Binge Box.
Yeah.
Her answer was just like, yo, this is my family now. And like I've always said before, like, on wedding day, your family gives you away to him. Like, that's what they always ask, who gives her away. Mm-hmm. And she's choosing that family over now. And it's like, doesn't mean she loves her family less. But, like, she has to support her husband. And, like, if they want to make the relationship work, it's not going to work in San Diego. So, she's not going to sit in where his parents are. But DC is somewhere where they both feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Close enough to family. But far enough away where they can build their own life. And I love that for them. I wish them the best. Gary out there modeling now and stuff like that. So
yeah, they talked about him modeling and about him coming into his whole new look, being a fashionista now. And he said something that I really liked, which essentially was that Taylor kind of opened the door for him to step into his fashion interests. And now he has a reason to actually want to dress up and look good because he has a woman beside him who cares about how she looks. And in turn, that makes him want to, experiment a little bit more. So that was cute.
Nah, for sure. No, when you got a woman that's fly, you gotta
step your cookies up. You gotta
match the fly. You gotta start putting on some fits. So clearly, Garrett was like, yo, let me step it up. But also, sometimes it does take the right partner to really pull certain stuff out of you. Because also, a lot of times people are nervous to try new things.
Yeah,
they're a bit scared. But having the right support system is like, it's okay. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
That's dope.
They also end up asking Ashley and Tyler about their holiday plans because, of course, like they were talking about during the season, doing traditional things, creating new memories. They mentioned that they made their own ornaments and how they were planning to split up their time between their families for the holidays. And yeah, they kind of ended off there. We get a glimpse of season 8 cast coming in. And they talk for a little bit, and then we close out with Leo doing a cheers to the whole group.
Overall thoughts on the reunion, 1 through 10.
If I had to rate it out of 10, I would personally say it's a 6. I feel like it wasn't horrible, but it could have been better. I feel like they need to, one, remove all the previous cast, like I said before. And then also ask more questions. Like, we need more details. I would say they did give us enough time to have enough talking points, more so than we've ever had in the last few reunions. But I do feel like there's so much more to be said that we don't get to see. And I feel like they need to do a better job with hosting in general and just showing us a little more detail, showing us a little more gusto, a little more tea.
We're not gonna get everything.
Yeah.
And also, Nick and Vanessa, they work with Loveisblinddc, work with production, so of course
they're PR. That's what it is.
Absolutely. Because at the same time, too, production likes to paint their own narratives, and you can't have Nick and Vanessa ask certain questions to then go against every single narrative, because then it looks like they were filming foolishness the whole time.
Yeah. So get different hosts.
No matter
shows do that all the time. No matter
who the hosts are going to be, the hosts are still going to be on Netflix payroll. So, of course, you're not going to go completely against.
But they don't have the same ties as Nick and Vanessa would have because they're intermingling between so many other things. Versus just having a random
whoever the host is going to be on Netflix payroll, and they're going to give you strict rules. Once you're hosting for a company, they're like, yo, you can't go against what we put out there. So, at the end of the day, that's why they do the podcast, and they can spill everything.
I guess, but there's also different clause. And I feel like, once again, because Nick and Vanessa have so many other things going on, and because they've been in the industry so long as well, they naturally have that, like I said, PR kind of response where they're like, I know I can only say X, Y, and Z. I'm going to limit whatever, versus having somebody who hasn't really been in the same realm, who obviously would be good at their job, but still is able to ask the questions. And granted, there's always loopholes. No matter how you toss it, how you turn it, there's loopholes to everything. If you're smart enough, you will find them.
Yeah, but do you want to have another job to host again? You can find a loophole. You're not hosting another
You can host if you work your way around it. Because if I sit down and I say X, Y, and Z, and these are the clause, and you're now questioning me about my job, and I've done nothing wrong.
They don't have to question you, but they can be like, we don't want you to do another. They
can say that. That doesn't mean that it's okay. Yeah, because you also have rights, and you're also warranted for then turning around and saying, okay, I can sue you for wrongful.
How so? If I hire you to host the reunion, right? Boom, you hosted a reunion, you did your thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't satisfied with the way you did it.
You have to prove what are you unsatisfied with.
But it's not like
that's why I'm saying
they're not hiring them for a long-term job. I'm hiring to do a specific job.
That's fine.
If I hire somebody to fix my floor in my house, they can do it. Cool. If I don't like how it's done, I'm not going to hire you to another job.
I will tell you one thing. Ultimately, ratings will talk. Like I said, if you have the right person that's asking the right questions, the ratings are going to talk over anything that they have to say. And that's why I said, because of, if you find the right person that knows how to work around the stipulations, they're going to be able to work around all the BS and still make all the ratings to where they will still get called back. Because guess what? I'm doing my job, and I'm also showing up for the people and doing exactly what they need me to do. So you can't fire me. You're going to want me to come back. You're going to be begging me to come back, because now all these people are going to be what do you call it? Hyping me up, because I'm doing exactly what they needed me to do. That's how you got to work your way around the situation.
So with that being said, my lovely best friend right here has put her hat in the race.
I'm not.
To host next season's reunion. All right?
I refuse.
We're going to announce the beautiful Thaleisha will be hosting Love is Blind Reunion Season 8.
Okay.
And with that, everybody, good night.
So that is all for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And what else they got to do?
In the comments below, drop your thoughts on the reunion and drop your thoughts on the season as a whole. Let us know if you was feeling the season, if you wasn't feeling it, good, bad, any favorite people, any people you hate, any people you like. And just connect with us and tell us your thoughts on Love is Blind as a whole. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok at the Binge Box Pod. And we'll catch you in the next one. Happy binging.
Happy binging.